Welcome to Movement Monday here on Heart of a Volunteer Veterans Podcast with your host, Daniel Hurd. Dan has been cycling one pedal at a time through 44 of the lower 48 states, nearly 18,000 miles and thousands of engagements to break the stigma of suicide. Join Dan as he engages in conversations with guests that are on their own movement to influence positive change and bring hope. Again, welcome and enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Movement Monday. Dan here with a friend from the road. Seth Rockwell joins us today to talk about van life and the great outdoors. At just 21 years old, he's living an amazing journey already, full of adventures. Some of us at some point in life have had thoughts of traveling the country, maybe the world, in a similar fashion. For many, it's just not acting on the thoughts to make it a reality. And for others, it was the circumstances that prevented it. This doesn't mean you can't fulfill that dream at some point, though. If you enjoy life in some of its simplest forms, this could be what you're looking for. This is our conversation. Seth, welcome to Movement Mondays. It's great to have you.
And thanks for having me so much, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you know, I'm thankful that you're here. Another friend from the road. It's great to have you. I'm hoping that this will encourage other people that have been on the road, that have met me on the road, will also come on and be part of the show at some point. But we haven't known each other that long. We met north of Moab. We met right towards the end of where I stopped from my accident. But I was getting ready to go into Moab. I was on the BLM land. And you pull up into this van. And I'm sure it was pretty crazy to see a guy sitting there with a bicycle and a camper. What were your thoughts? What were you doing there?
Yeah. Hasn't been long for how long I've met you, but I was pulling into Willow Springs that day, and that's that BLM land there. And I pulled up next to you, and you had a trailer and a bike, and you were making soup, and you were having a grand old time, it seemed. And I just needed a little spot to park the van for a week. I was actually leaving it there, and I was heading out to Colorado with some friends, and we were just going to take their car instead and kind of shrink down in size. And so I left it there. I needed to kind of rest anyways, and that's when a 5-minute conversation with you turned into an hour-long conversation with you about, what you were doing. And really that was an inspiring conversation. And so shout out to Susanna for being an hour late to picking me up, because without that, we wouldn't have gotten this. And that's awesome.
Yeah. Huge shout out to, you said Susanna?
Yep.
Yeah. Huge shout out to her for taking time. And, I remember when you got there, you're like, I'm only going to be here for 5 minutes. I got to pack my stuff. I'm like, oh, it's cool, man. And then you finish packing. You're like, well, I just called her. She said that she's going to be a little bit longer, maybe 15 minutes. And then 15 minutes goes by and they're like, oh, she hasn't even left yet. She's leaving now. They're 30 minutes away. And it ended up being, I think, ended up being about an hour or so.
It did.
And at that point, I ended up leaving as well. I packed up my stuff and left. But what were you guys doing? Where were you going? Meeting up with these guys.
So, we were heading out to the Rocky Mountains. Jen and her friend Anna, they're from the East Coast as well, and so we're not really used to this landscape. We're definitely not used to the Rocky Mountains, and they were down in Moab for a few months. They were doing a conservation corps down there, and so they have 7 days of work and 7 days off, and they had a window of time to kind of experience the Rockies, and so that's what we were doing, and went up to Estes Park and, did the highway and the whole thing. And it was awesome. It was a great experience, but it was kind of funny leaving the van behind for a bit, but we got around it.
Yeah. So how was the Rocky National Park? Did you guys do that road, the Peak to Peak road, I think it's called?
Yeah. So we, that was the attempt. We got probably halfway up it, and the conditions were pretty much white out. It was like a blizzard, and they turned us around pretty quickly, which I felt good about. I mean, you look on the side of the road and it's like 100-foot drop off if you kind of don't make the turn right. So I was solid with going back down. We got the full Rocky Mountain experience, it seemed. But there's definitely room for more, so I got to get back out there.
Of course, and there's always more times to go out, and that's the best part. Even though you didn't get to finish it, there's another time to go do it. So it gives you that motivation to keep going. Now, how long were you on the road when me and you met at that point?
Yeah, so I was on the road for just about 2 months. Then I think we met up beginning of October, and I left beginning of August to kind of head out on the road. So just about 2 months.
Man, that's crazy. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. When I started my travels on my bicycle journey, I didn't plan, like I didn't take as many days to plan it, and I wasn't on the road as a short time, but you pretty much did as many miles as I did, I think. So, but when I first started my journey, I wouldn't even leave my bike out like unlocked. I wouldn't leave it anywhere. If I left it somewhere, I felt so like afraid that it wasn't going to be there when I got back. Man, the passion you had for mountains and the outdoors must be pretty strong if you're willing to leave your van in a different state for a week or so to go check out some mountains.
Yeah, I guess you could say it is. I definitely was thinking about the van pretty much the whole time, like a child. Just it's in the middle of the desert. But I think a couple things go into that, and one of them is just kind of the feeling you get when you're in Moab. Just the community there and the people there, and where I left, I felt pretty safe with the people around. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing and kind of watching everybody's back, so everything was good there. And also just kind of being able to experience something like the mountains with a group of friends, that was also just as important. So to leave the van behind and kind of sacrifice that for the week, it was definitely worth it.
Oh, I bet it was, man. Like I said, the thought, the thinking of it as a kid, when COVID first started, I left my bike in Texas for about 3 months, and I went to Alabama, and that's the same thing. Like I was excited to get off my bike for a while. Like for any parents out there, I don't know if you've ever had this feeling. I'm not a parent, so I don't really. This is my thought process on it, but man, I was like, man, I just want to get away from my kid for a little while. And as soon as you get away from your kid, you're like, man, I miss my kid. Like I hope they're okay. I hope they're doing all the things that they're supposed to be doing and being taken care of. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it was for me. So I can totally understand and relate to how you felt, even though you were willing to leave it to go do this amazing adventure, but it's still in the back of your mind. It's there. So I get it. I totally get it. So what inspired this van life, this outdoor living, mountain style lifestyle that you've been doing for those months? What made you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a mixture of things. I guess if you look at the mountain aspect of this passion, it started when I was about 10, and I was lucky enough to hike Mount Washington with my uncle at that point, and we got to the top, and we looked at the weather station up there. Mount Washington's in the White Mountains, and we noticed this thunder and lightning storm kind of coming close to the summit, and it seemed like it was going to kind of come down the valley there. And we realized now's the time, if any, to kind of get to the tree line there. And so we were kind of running down into the tree line, and it's a good hike. And that was the only thing that was on our minds at that point. Everything else outside of that, all the crazy stuff in life was kind of outside of that. And even for a 10-year-old, like whatever, like there's not much going on in your mind, but you're so focused on the task at hand and kind of respecting Mother Nature and understanding, like, yeah, she's the most powerful thing at the end of the day. That alone is incredible. And I grew up right on the ocean in Mystic, Connecticut, and so very different sort of landscapes, but kind of the same in terms of there's no taming the ocean, just like there's no taming the mountains. They're both extreme elements, and so that really kind of set my passion for mountains. But I guess the van life and inspiration, that was just, I wanted to be able to see different places and meet different people. And that was really kind of how it went with the van and trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. And for me at the time, it was the van, building one out.
Man, I don't know if anybody out there has had any thoughts of ever traveling, but if you ever thought about being a nomad or thought about just doing some traveling, I think a van always pops into our heads at some point, or a bus or something to that effect. Because I was on that same path at one point, and I was all about the bus lifestyle. I was like, I know a bunch of people with buses. I'm going to be that guy with a bus too. And and for me, it got to more simplicity, which was the cycling, and ultimately later on the camper. But it was like, man, just the thoughts of having like this freedom. It's like that freedom that you have. You don't have to worry about hope everything at home is still good. Like, I don't, like right now, you guys dealing with some weather. I don't have to worry about anything back home because I don't have anything there that, you know, people that, for instance, people that go from New England to Florida for the year and all their stuff's at home and we're having all the snow. They don't have anybody up there to check on their stuff. So they're worrying about it and stuff like that. So having that freedom is amazing. So I get that. So you left your van. Let's get back on track for a sec. You left your van for about a week or so. We met, obviously, I don't think you had any intentions of crossing paths again. I didn't have any intentions of it, but it was about a week or so later, I saw on Instagram, that you were actually still in Moab. And to my surprise, I was still in Moab. So I reached out to you. I was like, hey man, I'm still here. You're still here. Let's hang out. And I think at that point you offered to meet up for lunch. And actually, I was hanging out with my buddy Alex. I told you about Alex. He's bum on two wheels. And he was with me. So I was like, hey, do you care if he joins? You're like, not at all. The more the merrier. That's awesome. So you actually came and picked us up because if I remember correctly, we were planning our whole enchilada trip. So we were going to get our bikes and everything. So we weren't able to go ride our bikes in hopes that we were going to get the rentals. But then so you came and picked us up at the hostel we were staying at, Lazy Lizard.
Lazy Lizard.
Yeah. Huge shout out to them. We ended up staying there for 5 days. So it was a good time. I think initially when me and Alex were going to go meet up, we were only going to plan to stay there for one night. So the fact that we were there for 5 that's how awesome Moab was. It was worth the stay.
Right.
So we ended up going out to lunch. Where'd we go? Because I can't remember, man.
Yeah, we picked you guys up from the Lazy Lizard. We went over to Gloria's right in Moab, and it's a place that I frequented a few times. With my time in Moab, they have probably some of the best smoothies that I've ever had. But that's where I experienced you being able to just put your order onto your waitress and having them decide the meal for you. And that was something that simply blew my mind. Like, I am too much of a control freak for any of that.
Yeah, I love that about my journey. It wasn't something I ever always did. I was always pretty structured on this is what I want and this is how I want it for a long time. And this journey kind of gave me that opportunity. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to, I'm not paying for it in most cases. Like, somebody gave me the money to buy my food for my situation. So I was like, I'm just going to let somebody else pick it for me. I didn't earn this money in the sense, in my mind, I didn't earn it to be able to have that choice. So that's how it started. That's how it started. And to be honest, I love it because you never know what you're going to get. Especially most of the time I get surprised by it. But the person that I'm asking, if it's a server, then they know what's good. They know what's they know what's good at that place. And so my usual question is, what would you eat right now? And if whatever you're going to eat is what I want right now. And they're like, what? You trust me that much? I'm like, I don't trust anybody, but I trust everybody enough to do that. So, if I remember correctly, my mind's a little foggy, but I think I had a burger of some sort. Well,
oh, you did. It had pineapple on it.
That's right.
I'm never going to forget.
That's right. I had the Hawaiian burger, I think it was.
Yeah.
But I think it had some heat on it too. Like, I think it was a pineapple habanero burger or something like that. It was bomb.
I think that's it.
I think if I remember correctly, unfortunately my mind's been a little foggy since my accident, so it's hit or miss. But if I remember correctly, that's what it was. And like I said, I think we were after lunch. You were talking. You were telling us about your trip that you just came from with the Rockies, and you had a plan, dude. You were going to head back east last minute. When we were talking a week before, you were heading west, I think, when you got back.
Yeah.
And we're having lunch, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to be going back east. I got a really special person I want to go see and surprise them.
Yeah.
Who are you going to see, man? That they're willing to change your path.
There's only a few people on this earth that I would drive the 36 hours and 3 days for. And my mom is definitely top of the list. And it was her birthday coming up. And, you know, initially she knows this. I wasn't planning on coming home for it. But as time got closer, it just did not feel right traveling and being away from home for her birthday. And so, yeah, at that point at lunch, that was one of the last big meals before I took off and was doing the trip home. Man,
you know, I thought you're like, yeah, I'm leaving as soon as we're done here. I'm going to get some stuff together and I'm rolling out tonight. And I was just like, man, that's a lot of driving, bro, by yourself. I was like, good luck. I wish you the best. And then it was a few days later, I remember being on Instagram. For everybody out there, what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah, Instagram is Seth_Rockwell_.
All right. And then for anybody else, that'll be in the description. But, man, I was on your I saw you on your Instagram. You walking in the door, I think probably to your house, probably to your mom and dad's house. And I just remember seeing so much excitement and shock and everything happening in this video that it just looked amazing, man. It looked like it was, your family was so shocked, but they were so full of joy to have you there. I remember your mom just staring at you like, and the look like, is this really my kid look? Even though she knew 199,000% that it was you. How was that experience, man? How'd you get your family all together and still keep it a surprise?
Yeah, well, I had to play with them a little bit. You know, I would talk to them on the phone and tell them I was still in Moab. And actually, before I left, I was taking different videos of Moab, and I would send them as I was coming home, so they thought I was still in Moab or still on the road. And so they really had no idea. And I was I was on the road. I was bored driving for 36 hours. So I had time to kind of mess with them and make it look like I was not coming home. But luckily, my sister's boyfriend, Ethan, he was kind of playing behind the scenes, and he was able to gather everybody together on a Friday night in the living room of my parents' house and make sure everybody was home and have the video ready. And yeah, I walked in the front door and I got the reaction I kind of thought I was going to, just kind of shock. And yeah, it's something that I'll never forget. It was really awesome.
Man, you know, like I said, I'll never forget it either because I saw it. It was almost like I was there being your sister's boyfriend, being the one filming it.
Yeah.
That's how, that's anybody that go check out his Instagram, check out that video. It was very impactful for me, and I'm sure it will be for a lot of others. And I know it was impactful for you and your family to have that opportunity to get back together like that. You know, so you're back in Mystic, Connecticut. It's a coastal town. There's no mountains out there.
None.
Like, what are you doing now? What are you doing while because you're still there now, right?
Yeah. So being removed from something that you love, like the mountains, it gives you a desire to get back. And when you are in the mountains, it gives you a whole new sense of appreciation for being able to be there and kind of being in that element. And so that's one thing for me that, I guess if I was to take a pro of living away from the mountains, it adds that much more when I am there. But right now, I actually, I just sold the van last week and got it shipped out to Seattle to a lady that bought it. So I guess that would be this week's gig. And now I'm in the process of looking for another one to start the process over.
Man, so you gave up the van lifestyle for temporary purposes. Now, did you give it up because your family's not supportive of what you're doing, or is your family supportive of what you did, or what's up with that?
Oh yeah, no, it has. Yeah, my family is definitely supportive of it. I remember I graduated high school, and about 3 months later, I found this video of this guy in a van, and I come from a family. My dad's a carpenter, and so I kind of understand a little bit of woodworking, and I have an appreciation for it, and seeing other people with these creative ideas. And I've always wanted to travel the country, and I was like, this is perfect. It's like two worlds kind of coming together where I can kind of customize this and learn about van life. And then after that, I get to travel in it. And so I love the process of building it. And I'm honestly excited to build another one. That's, I guess my passion for van life is definitely, it's not taking a back seat, but I'm just, I'm ready to do another one and kind of plan the next trip.
Man, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of stuff happening, bro. So being a carpenter, getting the opportunity to build it out the way you want it, you saw that inspiration. You saw the inspiration to want to be able to travel, see the world. So that was your huge passion, and the inspiration for it was to get into the van so that you could go see those mountains that are not in. Not really. There's not really mountains in Connecticut. There's hills. There's hills. I'll tell everybody that. Like,
yeah, you would know that.
I know that for a fact. I remember having a very tough hill to climb, and that was to get up to Sandy Hook, and I got snowed on climbing that hill. I remember that, and that was a tough one. But yeah, there's no. If I remember correctly, there's no mountains actually in Connecticut. So the fact that you have such a passion for mountains is amazing. I'm thankful for Mount Washington as well. You know, I've done that climb many times, and man, like it's just powerful stuff. And for a long time, dude, I thought Mount Washington was the tallest mountain. It's the tallest mountain in New England, but not on the East Coast. And for a long time, I was naive and thought it was the biggest mountain on the East Coast. I learned that Mount Mitchell in North Carolina is the tallest, actually, and I got caught in a snowstorm on there. So hearing all these different like scenarios that you were going through, it's like making me trigger what I was going through. And so I get like the Rocky Mountains getting turned around, like, and getting, and then again on the Mount Washington, getting below the tree line. Like I know all those feelings. I've been in that, so I get it. So what is your plan?
Yeah. So plan is to buy a new van. I'm kind of drawing up the next trip, and I have a specific goal in mind on where I want to reach. But for now, it's the next probably year it's going to take to build this next van out and go with 4-wheel drive in the next one, and just kind of get it ready for colder climates and more rough climates than just highway.
Absolutely. Hey, let's take a quick break and we'll talk more about what's ahead.
Sweet.
Hey, I know what you're doing over there, talking to your coworkers about work. Boring. The weather, even worse. All along, avoiding the real topic you want to talk about. You're practically bursting at the seams to talk about every episode of Heart of Volunteer Veterans Podcast. All amazing veterans, every episode, veteran gold. Yeah, go have that chat. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Hey, folks, if you haven't gone and listened to any of the other veteran chats, the sagas, go check them out. They're amazing stuff. Like Chris said, veteran gold. Seriously, veteran gold. Now, Seth, let's get back into it. Your plan is to make another van. That's in the works. Hopefully, getting started soon and building it as you go. But what's the plan for this next van? Where are you planning on going? What's your movement? What's your mission?
Yeah, so I guess to kind of go backwards. My last van trip, I was really hoping to get to the West Coast, but that didn't happen due to a multitude of things, from wildfires, COVID, the election. All these things kind of were coming together as one, and it was kind of creating this barrier between me and getting to the West Coast, which was unfortunate. So that was, I guess, another reason why I turned around. But this next van, I want to get up to Dead Horse, Alaska. That's a coastal town in the Beaufort Sea. That's way north up in Alaska. And I think to get a van up there it's just something I've thought about for a while, and it's going to take a lot of planning, and the van's got to be ready for something like that, because it's not like traveling around here. There's nothing really around up there. But yeah, that's the goal, is to get up there.
Man, is that why you sold the first van? Because I remember before the break you were saying that you were looking for 4-wheel drive. Was the first one not 4-wheel drive, or was it? What was up with that?
Yeah, that's correct. It was not 4-wheel drive. I guess that was always kind of a worry for me, and doing, going on these other trips and taking it further off the road is, it wasn't fully ready to do what I truly wanted, was to kind of take it into these places where there really isn't too much, and dirt roads and all this stuff that you're going to see up in Alaska. And so the next one's got to kind of be dialed for that.
Yeah. So you got to make sure that you're really truly self-efficient, so that
right
when the thing hits the fan, you got it under control.
That's it.
So what is this next build? Are you planning on going with the same ideas that you had before? Do you have new ideas planned? What's the plan for it?
Yeah, I mean,
do you have one?
I would say the layout inside the van is going to be different. I learned when I was on the road with the last one, kind of the movement of the van and where I would have preferred some things to be. And it's a lot of small stuff, really, but in a small space like that, every little inch counts. But just in terms, I really wanted to build another van and to kind of do it a different way, to kind of learn more about how you can build these vans out. Felt like the best opportunity. So that's the goal.
Yeah. With everything that's been happening, like, do you see things going to be, do you plan on making these vans more and more often? Or, because obviously you made one, do you plan on making more of these and helping other people potentially become van life experts in a sense?
I mean, I would love to. First, I think I got another van I got to learn some things on and kind of get real comfortable building on them. But the ultimate goal, would always be to kind of spread what you're passionate about to other people. And it's so easy to spread positivity on something when you love yourself. And so for me with vans, I would love to be able to, one day build them for people. And even if it's, little projects or the whole van or whatever, just kind of allowing them to kind of see what it's like would be huge to get more people on the road, because it truly is a unique opportunity and it's very special. Yeah, it is, dude.
Not even just the van life, the travel life. I want to say is the travel life and the this is a movement Monday. We talk about movement, the importance of movement. It doesn't matter if it's for self-awareness, it's for nature awareness, whatever it is for what you're doing it for. It's important to keep movement going, and van life does that, man. And being out there in nature gives you that ability to keep that movement. And that keeps you healthy. That keeps us going. Yeah. It keeps us determined and on track. So it's definitely important. You said you want to go up to Alaska more directly to Dead Horse, Alaska. Which is another, you want to go back to a different coast, to a coastal town. So you went from one coastal town to another coastal town. And
I haven't looked at it like that.
And man, you're going through every mountain range on the way there to get to the other coast. And you're going from a place that's already pretty cold, Connecticut, to an even colder place than what we have in New England. So it's like, man, what's your route going to be? Where are you going? How are you getting there? Are you gonna pick up where you left off? Are you going to take the route that you did before to get to Moab, or are you going to pick up where you left in Moab, or what's the plan? What's the plan? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it's time will tell. Honestly, it's hoping for the Canadian border to kind of open back up and start letting travelers through. And ultimately, it would be great to head west, kind of bounce around between Canada and I haven't seen a lot of Montana yet, and kind of shoot up and through British Columbia, and that's where I would start going into Alaska. And then, that would be the ultimate goal. And I would love to see Moab again, but that might be on the way back, kind of coming back down the West Coast and then shooting back east. I think would be the rough route. I have a year to plan it, and things change as everybody knows. But for now, that would be the ultimate goal, because, I mean, from what I've heard, Canada is absolutely unbelievable. And there's some parts of that I definitely have to see in a van.
Yeah, man. I think that after you get to Alaska, you just pretty much went across America to go to Alaska. It sounds like you're planning. It sounds like you should probably go through Canada to back to Connecticut. Check out all of Canada, bro.
Yeah, I know. There's just so much you want to see, and you just got to try to figure out the best route to it. But yeah, I guess I have a year to figure it out, because there's going to be a route. So
for this route, so other people have an idea, you're not just getting in a van with no savings, like you're planning this out, you're investing into it, so that you have the gas, the insurance, all the stuff that is necessary to be able to have this van, first of all. But so do you have a budget or a plan for a budget that you're going to need to be able to fulfill this task that you're setting yourself up for?
Oof. I honestly wish I knew the answer to my budget. I really just try to put what I can into it and go from there. And I don't know. The last one, I kind of have my mind wrapped around what the budget was for 2 months, but I don't really know what to expect going up in these northern territories and kind of what you need up there. That's going to take some more, looking into to really figure out how to do it safely. It's
of
more
course.
of an organized hippie,
Of course. And that's, in today's world, hippies still have to be organized as well to get through things. And I like to consider myself a hippie. I feel like I have a hippie mentality, but I try to stay organized when I can, as best I can. And that's just how I do it. Like, I got to make sure I can get through what I'm doing. So you have a plan, you're working out the details of the budgets, you're working out all these different things that you got pretty much a year to work out. What is the ultimate goal after you get to Alaska? Like, man, I made it to the Dead Horse. Now what? What are you doing? What's your bigger idea? What's your movement going? Where are you hoping to get?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hope even before I get to Alaska, really it's, just showing people that, there are great places in this world, that there are safe places in this world, and there are great people in this world. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe in. There's just great people in this world. And I think if you listen to what everybody was saying online today, it's, you would make you think that everybody's bad. And that's just simply not the case. And I found that, quite simply traveling for 2 months, I found that, more than a handful of times with different people, everybody. It's just like, and I think that, a lot of great people don't get talked about enough. And so I kind of want to start that conversation of, that there are great people in this world, and we got to kind of more focus on that if we want to kind of start moving forward with things.
I 100% agree with that, Seth. It's something when I started my journey, I tell people a lot. I don't know if I told you directly or not, but I believed for a long time before I started my journey that there wasn't really good people left in this world. And that was because I watched the news. I saw media of all different types. And if you watch that media all the time and you don't see what's actually out there in the real world, you're going to believe at some point that there isn't good people in this world and that we're going down the wrong way and the wrong path. And sure, there's times where that does happen, but I strongly, wholeheartedly believe that there is a lot more good people in this world than bad. I believe that we see that when we're on the road away from the norms of what we consider media. Getting to interact with the person that is in town that you're hanging out in your van, or someone comes up to you and be like, "Hey man, how's the van life doing?" Like, man, I've always wanted to do that. That looks so much fun. Yeah. Those are the people that really connect with us because as a traveler, I feel like a lot of people connect with you because they want to be connected to you to be part of that travel. I mean, sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the capability of traveling, but we make it happen. They make it happen through others that they meet along the way or in crossing paths with. And that's why I'm honored to have so many people follow my journeys because, one, most of the people that have followed it have been part of it in one way or another, but also, just being involved and being a good person and showing respect and kindness without even knowing, one, what my cause is, just knowing that I'm a traveler is amazing. And I think that a lot of people out there, including yourself, I know before this conversation we started that your ideal goal is to find a bigger per se movement, to fulfill your need to have purpose, I guess would be the best way to say it. But man, I'm going to tell you right now, like, it sounds like you got movements in the works. You got not just one movement, which is a movement for mountains or outdoor living or outdoor passion, but you got a movement from van life. You got a movement for showing the world that there's good people. So I hope that you realize that just because you don't per se have that giant movement or you don't know exactly what direction you want to go in, but you got multiple directions, work them all. It's going to be great stuff for not just you, but for anybody listening. If you guys are out there and you're like, man, I really love doing this and I really love doing that and I love doing this, do all three. until you figure out which one's the best one for you. Now, down the road, for you, Seth, movement is great. You know, for mountain life, that's awesome. I think for yours, the van, the mountain, all the things that are, those will become one ultimately, because they all kind of tie in. They're all kind of webbed together. So, I really believe that you have the passion for van life. You got the things that you want to go with, from building it out to inspiring other people to travel in them. You know, I think you got it, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, man, it's very humbling to hear you say that, you know, with your organization, one pedal at a time, and just kind of what you're able to do and the impact you're having, the following of people that, you know, you have. It's really humbling to hear you kind of say that. And so I appreciate that. And thank you for that. You know, I guess the hope, would be that they all kind of come together, and all the movements, and for myself, and that I can show, you know, ultimately people the goal of that there's great people. And I mean, that would I guess be the ultimate goal. But to hear you say that again, I thank you for it.
So that's not a problem. And if for whatever reason, for anybody out there, including yourself, if you are having trouble finding a purpose or a mission to be part of, know that we're always looking for ambassadors for One Pedal at a Time movement. That's something that we are always encouraging. It doesn't matter if you're on a bicycle or not. I'm looking at people right now that are walking across the country. You know, maybe you could be the first guy in a van to be part of it. Who knows? But you know, we're always looking for people to further our cause as well as other people's causes. So it's important to be involved in a movement, whatever movement that is best for you.
That's correct.
Seth, you know, we're wrapping this up now, man. I'm going to throw you on the spot. You have the opportunity right now to talk directly to the listeners. What are you going to tell them?
Wow, on the spot. Just you know, get outside. Understand that there are great people. You know, kind of put those people in the front of your mind, and ultimately, people like Dan. Make sure you keep following them. Follow what they're doing. I mean, Dan's doing an amazing thing, incredible things, and I personally can't wait to see what happens when he gets back on the road. And so, Dan, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for talking today, man. It was awesome.
It's always a pleasure, Seth. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Man, what a great episode. It was truly a pleasure to have Seth on the series, and I wish him the best in his continued and growing movement. We are all living some type of movement already, yet for many of us, we don't think we are. As well, there are times where we feel we are not doing enough. Even I have these feelings at times. Other times, we are so close to being able to have the happiness we are searching for, but we just need to take that forward lunge to get there. The passion you have can be the driving force for your movement. Have you ever taken a leap of faith and pursued your passion? I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment and share your story. Be ready for another great episode next week. Until then, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Heart of Volunteer Veterans Podcast. Have a wonderful day today and a beautiful week ahead. Talk to you soon. Copyright, Our Volunteer Veterans Podcast, 2021.